Nominations are open on the website. I'll enter the website into the chat so you can head straight there. We're still kind of in limbo about what that's going to look like this year in terms of an actual awards ceremony, but hold fire, we will know probably within the next couple of weeks. This year the award categories are the exact same as last year, so we're trying to keep consistency and just maintain the level and expectation of the awards, but we do have one addition in the form of an ISV Partner Award. So we've got 12 award categories this year. You can find out about each category for each award on the website with further detail. For award entries, it's the same as last year as well. So we've got detail for what you're submitting for each category. Your entry information will have things like your executive summary, full details on what the offering is, the innovation and the customer centricity, what the sales impact has been, technical capability, as well as go-to-market strategy, supporting documents, and you're really describing customer specific scenarios and problems that you've solved by your solution, and you can feel free to enter as many awards as possible. So basically we encourage you to enter more than one. I'm just trying to change the slide. There you go. So some of the tips and tricks to win, this is on our website as well. So if you head to the website, we've got all these helpful boxes on the first page, and they all link off to more information that helps with all of the submissions. So our key advice is to start early. You can use Co-op to invest in this type of activity also, so you can speak to PDMs about that, or myself. You can contact me directly if you'd like any support. Draft your entry offline because it does time out. Brainstorming with others and gathering your facts. Definitely make sure you talk to your customers so they know that what you will be submitting is potentially their story, and then choosing your awards and categories. So you definitely want to consider more than one category, but you do want to be selective because it is still quite a process and there's a lot of information that goes into a really good award-winning submission. So as I said, I'll add the link to the chat box, and feel free to reach out to me directly if you need any support.
Awesome, thanks Olivia. I've actually managed to make this gorgeous device work, so I'll share my screen, Ken, so you can take control. Stop.
Okay, I've muted the conference room, by the way, Anusha, just so you know, because of the feedback. To be on mute whenever you guys are good.
Oh God. Cool. Take control when you're ready.
Just give me one moment. All right. Thanks, Anusha. And hey again, everyone. As you may know, I'm Ken from the go-to-market team, and I handle the enablement activities in New Zealand. So, just before I get into my activities, just want to mention that, super exciting that we've got a partner awards on again, and really hope to see lots of submissions from you guys. It's a huge event for partners in New Zealand, as some of you may know, and really looking forward to seeing some of the great awards and great work that you guys have done moving forward as well. Is this working? So unfortunately, it being quite late in the quarter, we don't have a lot of new activities to showcase, if I have to be quite honest here. But there is some stuff that's happening that I thought would be good to talk a little bit about. So first off is the Block 64 solution assessments that actually happened this week. And essentially what this is, it's what it says on the title. It's a solution assessments that we think it's super valuable for our partners to take a part of. And essentially it allows you to unlock customer opportunity by evaluating the basically the viability of moving their workloads onto Azure and onto the Microsoft technology stack as a whole. So if you like more content in terms of this, it's all on Yammer, and we have put the recordings up as well as the slide decks. And I cannot emphasize enough how great this tool is that we are sharing with all of you. Next of all, moment here. Sorry, I think I clicked on a link by accident, actually, Anusha. Could you put back on the PowerPoint? Sorry about that. Yeah. So just some of the content and the different sort of assessments that are available is just covered here. Just really wanted to show it to you guys, you know, all the way from Azure down to Windows Virtual Desktop assessments. Lots more information are available in the recordings, and I'm not sure if Suzette's on the call, but we're always taking queries as well if you guys are interested to know more about how you can use this tool to unlock the Azure and the cloud opportunity with the customers that you're working with. I think I need to request control again here. Cool. Next up, if it will load, one of our great learning partners here in New Zealand, ACE Training, are offering the great blended learning training offer available to partners today as well. So this is training offers targeted towards certifications, and essentially they're providing services that are usually around over $1,000, currently running at $600 plus GST, that are targeted towards these certifications, as you can see on the screen here. So it's covering things all the way from modern desktop administrators, which is towards the Microsoft 365 technology stack, down to things such as Azure administrators, and even for the BizApp partners that we have on call, things such as DP100 and DP200 as well. Oh, actually, sorry, those are the data solutions as part of the Azure stack as well. But my understanding is that they do have BizApp certifications available as well. So if you guys are interested to know more about this, feel free to reach out to ACE Training, and yeah, one of our great learning partners definitely within the channel that we work with. Lastly, so as we are reaching the end of the quarter, there's lots of plans that we are kind of creating in regards to partner enablement for the coming quarter, which is October to December. And what we would love to get is some feedback from the partner channel. So I've got a link here towards a forums link, which would have a couple of questions that we'll love if you guys could spend some time to answer, as we'll be using this information in order to plan some of the activities moving forward. And quite specifically around certification, you know, not to give any spoilers ahead of time, but we're definitely having some great training content available, and we are just in the process of deciding which certifications and which sort of trainings we would like to do. So if there's some kind of training programs or workshops that you have always been interested in doing, but you know, we just never had the chance to run at a local level, not guaranteeing we're going to run those, but please put your input into that link, into that forums, and you know, we'll definitely see what we can do, because this is a great time to add on to that. I think that's it from me, Anusha. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to just reach out to me on the chat window. And yeah, I'll just be putting the link to the forums shortly, if you guys could just spend 1 or 2 minutes to answer that form. Thanks very much, and I think I'm passing it on to Paul.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Ken. That was quick. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. Well, hi, guys. Great to see so many familiar faces again, and a great turnout. Once again, it's awesome to see all of you guys here. And as you know, guys, we are in the midst of Ignite. So I really hope that you guys are scheduling some sessions in, as I have. For those that aren't familiar with how we run our global digital events now, they're on a rolling cycle where the keynotes and core sessions are all repeated. So you can go ahead and if one of the sessions hasn't run yet, you can book it in for a future point, or you can, of course, watch them on demand. So please do go ahead and register for Ignite at myignite.microsoft.com. I'm going to cover a bit of news there from the last day or so, but I'd highly recommend, I'm just going to pull this over here, as I'd highly recommend go watch Satya Nadella's keynote. It's only a kind of 40-50 minute session. I just recommend everyone watches that. It's a great sort of summary view. Satya does an amazing job of kind of pulling together the sheer complexity and breadth of Microsoft into a really succinct presentation, and there's some awesome demos as well. So definitely make sure you go have a quick look at that. Okay, so with that, I'm going to focus this little section right now on Microsoft 365. And of course, there's been no shortage of announcements at Ignite in the last 24, 48 hours around really all of the things that you see in bold there. There's pretty much nothing actually in the core services, the primary services in Microsoft 365 that hasn't been updated or had some announcement made about it. So I'd highly recommend going and having a look at that. And to help you with that, what we've done is, or the Corp team have done, is they've put together super nice, succinct summary page, if you can do that, at least a summary page of all of the modern work and security news. So all of the M365 capability news, if you like, on one single page here. So I will drop this page in the chat window after this. I won't go through it all, guys. You can see the scroll bar is pretty long here. But I'll just sort of skim down it. You can just get a feel for the sheer numbers of things. If you haven't already, I'd recommend reading this exact article here if you want to look at the detail of Teams. It's really quite insane, the sheer volume of Teams announcements. I actually posted it on LinkedIn that it's absolutely just insane, actually, the sheer number of details and stuff that we're announcing. I love this one here, the ability to be able to float your video over the back of a PowerPoint presentation. Coming soon, breakout rooms, really running those internally at Microsoft. Webinar registration, those of you who have been looking for that for some time or been using Zoom or something else will be pleased that that's finally coming. Anyway, I won't go through all of it right now, guys, but there's lots and lots of stuff there. We'll just jump back to that page before we're on. As you scroll down here, you'll see there's updates to meetings, callings, chat, and collaboration, first line workers. We've got some new healthcare connections and services, some management capability, new Power Platform updates, some small mid-sized business stuff, which I'm going to cover in a moment, and then some technical updates and announcements as well. So please do make sure you go and have a look at that stuff. It's pretty compelling. Okay, so what I wanted to spend most of today's session on is the Microsoft 365 Business Premium announcements. As you guys know, this is what we call our hero product for the small and medium business segment, so the less than 300 seat size customer segment typically. And Business Premium, of course, has been evolving rapidly over the last year or two, and I think you'll be pretty pleased with some of the new stuff that we have just announced as well. So if it wasn't clear, if you weren't sure, we're going to continue to invest into the Microsoft 365 Business Premium suite around the security and capability in the tooling for customers, but also now on the partner side. And this is, I think, really super exciting news, guys. So the first thing is new antivirus management with Defender, now built into Business Premium. So the ability to view threats, check device health, and identifying actions that are required on individual devices. So we really are upping the game and innovating beyond other AV providers in the space. So super awesome stuff around that. And then the other really big announcements, I think most relevant for everyone on this call or for partners that are doing managed services, is our announcement of Microsoft 365 Lighthouse. And so for those that are familiar with the Lighthouse service for Azure, this is a equivalent type service built into Microsoft 365 for you, our partners. This is basically a single pane of glass to help you manage, maintain, run, monitor, and remediate all of your customers' environments running in Business Premium. And so you can see from the dashboard here that we've got a quick snapshot of the number of devices that are non-compliant, number of threats mitigated, number of devices with antivirus protection out of not up to date, things like that. And so this is right now in a private preview. Unfortunately, we couldn't get anyone from New Zealand onto this private preview, but there is a sign-up process to sign up for the pilot or preview rather when we go broader with that. And what I'm asking you all to do, please, is if you can go to this link on this page, click through to the sign up page and please sign up, because what I want to do is I want as many New Zealand partners to sign up for the Microsoft 365 Lighthouse preview. And that way I can then go to the engineering team and go, guys, New Zealand is a super important market. We've got great penetration of Microsoft 365 Business Premium and of course Office 365. And we've got lots of partners that want to get on board with us, and that will help us to open that up sooner rather than later for you guys. And so to give you a bit of a quick snapshot here of some of the stuff that we've got built into the tool. This is just I've literally scraped this from the blog post, so you can go and read the details, but I just wanted to kind of give you pictures worth 1,000 words, this kind of insight here. You can see down the bottom of the screen, these are individual customer tenants and the total number of devices here, the number of ones that aren't compliant in grace periods, or ones that have no policy control or percentage of policy rollout across your customers. So really amazing single pane of glass view. Here's an example of the threat management view that you can look at across both Defender and then the scans that have been run and various threats that are in place. This is just the start of where this product's going. On the actual blog post, which I'm just going to jump over to again right now to so you have a feel for that. On this blog post here, there is a whole lot more information about this, but there's also a video down the bottom here. Highly recommend. It's only 20 minutes long, and it's actually got the engineering team, the folk that are building this product, it's actually got them speaking about it and talking about what they're looking to build. So please do go ahead. You'll see if I click on this next step one, it's just going to load me up a standard Microsoft form. So go and register in here, put your details in so we can get lots of New Zealand partners enrolled into the preview. Just a couple of quick points. I'm sure this is should be pretty self-explanatory, but obviously you'd need the devices enrolled at Intune, which is of course is our management tooling for managing the endpoint, and of course you need delegated admin access, of course, to a customer's tenant. So hopefully you guys are as excited as I'm about this, and I will drop the links to those pages we've just looked at into the chat as soon as I've finished talking. The other thing just to call out, actually this was announced a little while ago, but for those of you using SolarWinds for your RMM tooling, for your remote management and monitoring, we're integrating the Intune capability in M365 into that as well. So you can see that Microsoft is very, very serious about ensuring that these products are not just built for customers, but for you as partners that are ultimately at the front line with our customers. So there's a whole lot of information here. I won't spend time going through all of the bullet points. These ones here are key sessions on M365 kind of from an SMB focus. So highly recommend having a look at Nathalie's Ask the Expert session. So she is the head of the engineering team building out the M365 Business Premium service and the Lighthouse service that you've just seen. And then there's also all of the on-demand sessions that are available for SMB focused stuff. So an example of those, there's IT checklist for security, the new Defender antivirus piece, there's M365 voice, so there's the best practices and deployment sessions. And then there's also driving profit as well for you guys. So how do you look at profitability? And I'll just quickly again show you what that looks like. So under here, you see we've got an entire portal, if you like, as part of it's kind of a virtual hub, if you like. Think about it as part of Ignite, like almost a hub or expo session. And in here are all of these videos, and so you can go through here. There's a Windows Virtual Desktop one. There's the one I just mentioned before about driving profit and reducing risk. So some really awesome content in here as well. And this rolls across first line workers and a whole lot of other areas if you navigate back on here as well. Okay, so switching gears, I'm just going to skip over those ones right now. In November this year, we will launch a new voice promo. So for those of you have thinking this is deja vu, I did speak about this on, I think it was our August call, was it? We were about to launch in at some point, I think it was September, and that was pulled due to some technical issues on the back end of our commerce platform. That stopped it from being this particularly a promotion being orderable. This right now is actually not released information. I'm wanting to give you guys a preview of this right now because this will launch at the start of November. If we were doing this session like this again in a month's time, it's not going to give you a lot of leeway or lead time. So I want to make sure you're all aware that we will be launching this voice promotion from the 1st of November, and it's about 33% off. I think if I go to the next slide here, maybe I don't have it on this actual deck. It's about 33% off on the voice SKU. So great opportunity to drive that, and the audio conferencing one for enterprise accounts will run as well currently from the start of next month, so October, and that will allow for customers running. Enterprises need audio conferencing, for instance, for dial-in, or don't need full voice capability. And so the real key motion behind this is really driving Teams as a meeting and calling solution. We know that Zoom is launching their audio or voice capability, not so much direct dial, but the ability to dial in. And so we want to make sure that everyone has access to audio conferencing. I should have said, sorry, that audio conferencing is free. The business voice one is 33% off. And so great opportunity to get customers that are using Teams today to give them free audio conferencing dial-in conference bridge numbers as well. There's a bit more detail in here. I won't go through all of the infinite detail right now, but this will be available in the deck for you to use. There's also all sorts of content around workshops. So you can see here we've got Business Voice Workshop, we've got our trials. There's all sorts of content around documentation and usual sort of materials as well for both audio conferencing and voice. Okay, and lastly, just switching gears a little bit today, I want to talk a little bit about what's happening with Partner Center and our insights reporting. So hopefully most of you today are using Partner Center already for all of your broad customer reporting and insights. We have historically had a tool called My Insights that ran from the old partner portal, basically. And that tool gave you insights into customer subscription information, but also customer propensity data and a whole lot of other sets of things. But we're basically retiring that My Insights tool, and we're moving all of that into Partner Center proper, which is great. So as you guys know, we're really driving everything into Partner Center. That is our go-to place for everything to do with your relationship and business with Microsoft. And we're getting there. We've only got a couple more things to go after this. So make sure you're getting across Partner Center and particularly this reporting. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of where I think you can get a lot of value from it, but just be aware that we've got lots of things like subscription data, of course, as you'd expect, that's already in there, but things like performance, KPIs against products, and also lots of insight, intelligence kind of behind it. And one of those areas is essentially the propensity data that you have that we run across your customers. And so this is just an example of the snapshot of how you get to navigate to it. But I want to talk quickly about how we do this propensity modeling. Some of you may have heard of us talk about Cloud Ascent. Before, Cloud Ascent is our name for our propensity modeling, data modeling basically in Microsoft. And what we do is we take lots and lots of signals from various sources. We have obviously customer purchase transaction history. We also get things like what kind of customer they are, geographies and industries and things like that. We also get a bunch of things like interactions. So if ABC company was to go and download a white paper from us, and as long as they use their domain name and their, for instance, an Office 365 account, then we can cross-match that, and we can tell we can add that to our propensity modeling, the fact that they're showing interest in various products or subjects from Microsoft. And then from there, what we do, in fact, I think we've got a little bit more detail on the slide here. So we have things like browsing patterns, historical, obviously sales, revenue, things like that, which I've touched on. And then we kind of roll that together, and we spit out essentially some insights or guidance, if you like, on the customer's intent and their degree of fit. So we have two measures. One's called fit and the other one's called intent. And so a fit would be customers are really, really good fit in that industry. They already own a lot of Office 365 and they have a bunch of security queries or things like that. And so that would be our high propensity customer for Microsoft 365 as an example. And we call that an Act Now customer. So when you log into the portal, have a look at the customer area. I'm just going to go and jump over to where this is, and so you can see what it looks like. So this is brand new. It was in the My Insights dashboard. It's now live as of a couple of days ago in the Partner Center area. And so what you'll see is you'll actually have all of your customers. It'll have expiring agreements. It'll have expiring revenue and open license revenue data as well as all of the segmentation and propensity information. And so it'll have breakdowns of where we see the customer's opportunities. So you'll be able to pull a list, or you can extract it into Excel, of all of your customers that you think are valid customers for, or that we think rather are valid customers for Azure, or for a security play, or for video conferencing, or for whatever it might be. And so, yeah, highly recommend it. It's your data, so it's your customers rather. So if you have sold Office 365, Dynamics, whatever it is, to 100 customers, then we're rolling that propensity and machine learning data algorithms across that data set and then showing you the results of it. Now, you obviously know your customers as well. You'll have good insight into them. But what this does help you do is kind of just float up some that and maybe give you some triggers on things that you can talk to customers about. So what we will do is in another session sometime, we'll get some actual data and some scenarios and show you that. Of course, it's just live now in the Partner Center, and so I have no data to show you and out in my demo tenant. But you all can go and log in and start using that as well. If you want, this website has all of the details about how all of this works, and you'll see here there's a definition of what we call Act Now, so a sales ready customer versus Evaluate, which we'd call a marketing ready customer, and so on. And as I say, that's based on signals that we receive here. And so then we cluster them. You can see down here, it's a little bit hard to see possibly. I'll just zoom in there a little bit. You can see we've actually now, in this filter here, we've gone and said, go pull a list of all customers that meet high fit and high intent for Dynamics as an example, and you end up with the A1 there as a high fit, high intent, and it'll give you a number of customers that fall into that bucket. You can then pull them out and start targeting them with targeted messages as well. So with that, guys, thank you very much for listening to me. I'm going to hand over to Vitor, who I hope is on the call already.
Thanks, Paul. Hello, everyone. Kia ora. It's been a while since I last presented in one of these calls. I know many of the people on the call are familiar to many of you guys, so it would be great to talk a little bit about small and medium business marketing. So I recently changed role. So since July, I have moved to what we call an Asia Pacific based role. So I used to do marketing for small and medium businesses in New Zealand. Now I'm doing a regional role and overseeing two customer SMB marketing for the region. So Interesting approach. Certainly learning a lot about other countries, other cultures, and the best thing is really being able to see some of the best practices that are happening on other countries and replicating that to New Zealand as one of the main markets I work with. I'm still based in Auckland, so still around. What I want to share today, it's actually super cool what we have done, and it hasn't been easy. We wanted to benchmark how digital transformation is trending for and it's pacing for small and medium businesses, not just in New Zealand, but across Asia Pacific. So we engaged with Forrester Research Group earlier this year in January to work on a market research that would interview more than 600 SMBs across Asia Pacific, and a big focus in New Zealand specifically, to understand what's hindering digital transformation for Kiwi SMBs. And when I mentioned it hasn't been easy, because when we first started to run the survey, we were not expecting the impact of COVID to be, that big in New Zealand. It was already impacting many other countries, but not so much in New Zealand. So we were not aware what would happen. And midway, we realized, it's happening here. It's going to impact New Zealand heavily. So why not factoring what's the actual impact of that into our business? Into New Zealand businesses. So whatever I'm presenting here, the next slides and the reports that I'll be sharing after the call, you're going to have access to all of them. They're actually incorporating what's happening or what's the impact of COVID-19 on Kiwi businesses. So we had to reevaluate all the approach, we had to re-interview businesses, and we had to make it more, relatable to the current market scenario. But we are confident that the outcomes of the research and the feedback and insights that have been provided by customers reflects the current market scenario that we are on. So what I want to share is not only some of the outcomes from that research, because I'm sure many of you will have already have their own view on the market and all the changes and the challenge that customers are facing at this very moment, right? What we want to do is really provide you with insights, with data points, and with a framework that you can tap into, either to build your own communications, to leverage on your marketing materials, on conversations with your customers. So it's really giving you those stats and that marketing site that you can leverage further on your own campaigns and communications. I'll quickly go through some of the findings, and then I highly recommend each and every one of you to download the report and go through it. It's 6 pages long, so it's about a 15 to 20 minutes read, and I highly recommend that. And there are also other resources that you can leverage, like infographics and digital assets. So,
sorry, Tor, I might ask you to just take control, because we can't see the slides as you're flicking through them. If you just want to click take control. In your bottom left, where it says the slide number, are you able to do that?
Oh.
Does it say take control?
I can navigate forward. Okay, got it. Now I think it should work.
Awesome.
Cool. Can you see the first slide, everyone? SMB Forrester Research.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. So back into it, and just finalize before I jump into some of the findings and resources. The idea when we engaged with Forrester, for the whole Asia Pacific region, with about 10 countries that we group into that region, what I want to do is set a benchmark. So this is the first report of what we're calling the Scalability Index. The idea is that every 2 years we go and we redo this research across all those markets to analyze the trends. So we understand that the first edition of the report have very specific trends because of everything we're dealing with during the pandemic. But in 2 years' time, we're going to redo that report, interview customers again, and see what progress has been done. What are the trends and what are the new challenges and things happening on the market. So bottom line, as you all know, the small and medium businesses were among the hardest hit businesses during the pandemic. But what we have also seen is that for many businesses, it has fast-tracked digital transformation. We have seen huge trends around remote working, around security as a result of that, collaboration, and all of that. So products like Teams, have skyrocketed, not just Teams, some of the competitor products as well, but some of those trends have been accelerated. And it's that old analogy, right? You can always see the glass half full or half empty. What we're trying to do here is really position a picture around how do you become a little bit more responsive, to the changing market scenario. How can you be future ready instead of playing a position on a survival mode with whatever is happening out there? So now it's the pandemic. Who knows what's coming next, and who knows how long this pandemic will last? So it's really about adapting and building that business resilience so you can carry on with business. So some of the main findings, and this is actually the result of interviewing over 100 Kiwi businesses. And by Kiwi business, by small business in New Zealand, we define businesses with 300 or less employees. So there's a breakout on the company size. I can share that with anyone, and also the industries we interviewed. But that's also on the report. So if you download the report, you're going to find all the demography and all the information around the research. So some of the key findings, as I mentioned before, small businesses are in survival mode. The short-term needs are hindering the future readiness, and the fact that they have to deal with all the uncertainty at the moment. They are not thinking about their future plans. Many SMBs, many Kiwi businesses had plans to internationalize, to expand, and all those plans are on hold right now due to the urgent needs that came up. Second point, it's really about their ambition to scale and how they are taking actions towards growth. So all the business want to grow, right? Every business we interviewed has plans and ambitions to grow. What we found is that there's a lack between the mindset and the execution, right? It's not just about having the mindset. You need to take the steps and actions and have a plan, right, for your business on things you have to achieve in order to reach, that growth aspiration. So this is one of the main findings, right? There is actually a very good understanding about what digital transformation means, about the benefits, but they are not taking the actions, and they do need help, to really translate what that next actions and steps look like for their business. And one good side is the potential to leapfrog. So small businesses shouldn't be facing many barriers with complex and legacy systems, and that's certainly an opportunity that they can tap into, which is fundamentally different from bigger organizations that have been on the market for dozens of years, and then they have a big legacy of old systems they have to deal with, and migrating those systems, and all of that, it's quite complex. Now, one thing that's quite interesting is that although small businesses are agile and many of them are quite niche, we saw that even though they don't have a lot of technology, those technology decisions and the way they buy technology is not connected, it's not part of a plan. So they don't have a lot of solutions, but those solutions are not connected at all, which, it's something that if you tackle early on, it's easier. If you leave it, start creating that legacy, and then that potential to leapfrog goes away. So I won't explain much further there. I don't want to steal the thunder from the report. I hope you guys go to the full report. Also, a couple of other comments that we got from customers is the way they invest in IT, which it's really based on cost effectiveness before strategic growth. Not ideal. The way any business invests in technology, not only in technology, should be part of a bigger plan, for their business, and not only looking at the short-term needs. We know that's not the best approach. Lack of commitment as well. All the companies want to be data-driven. All the companies want to enable secure remote working, collaboration, and all of that. Have better operations, but they're not taking the actions. And many of them said they're not taking the actions because they're not clear on what the next step looks like. So I think we have all done a great job. When I say we, I mean Microsoft and all the IT partners out there on demystifying the term digital transformation. There's great awareness about digital transformation as a term, as a way of evolving your business. But what we also saw is that, okay, that's great, but how do I take the next step? What do I do now? So helping businesses to have their plan of action is a great opportunity. And I think, this is the flavor of the last few months. It's really about employee productivity. There's a battle that small businesses face between on juggling short-term needs and the productivity of today against the productivity of tomorrow. And when I say that, it's really making those strategic decisions on what you are investing and where you are placing your bets today, and also taking decisions that will build you for your business for the future, becoming future ready. So I want to share again. I think this is also very interesting, for partners to see how businesses out there are thinking about IT investments. And I'm not sure about you. I don't think it's the best approach. I think just thinking about the most cost-effective solution is not the right way of doing businesses, but it is what it is. 64% of businesses have that approach. That said, I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to work with our customers and make sure that they understand what the benefits are and how they can make decisions that fit into a business growth plan, and that addresses their digital transformation roadmap for the future. So 40% or so of customers are thinking that way. So I think it's a good sign. There is a big amount of customers that are working their plans, that are trying to achieve what they have set as digital transformation goals, and this is great, but there's certainly room for improvement. And I think it's a piece of work that we all have to do together to change mindset. It takes a village to change people's mindsets. And this is the outcome. This is the way we are benchmarking, right? There are 5 pillars that we look at: systems of insight, employee empowerment, customer engagement, operations optimization, and security and privacy. So these are the 5 pillars that we were asking customers about digital transformation and their plans. So if you look at the light blue bars, that's the mindset. That's how aware of the benefits of that specific pillar customers are aware of. And then you can see that that they are quite ahead on that side. But then if you look at the dark blue bars, it's actually the scalability readiness. So what they're doing, what are the actions, what are the things they have in place to address that, right? So all businesses want to be data-driven, but are they taking the actions to be data-driven? Not really. All the businesses want to improve customer engagement and customer experience, is one of the main things businesses are thinking about, but are they taking the actions and steps to address that? So there's also a big gap. So this is where we are right now. What we're going to be doing is, of course, sharing these and talking about it and helping customers to understand those gaps. And then in 2 years' time, we're going to benchmark it again and hopefully see some improvements there. Now, what's in for partners? How we can leverage that? So there are resources that are, customer and partner ready that you can start using today. The links will be on the deck that will be shared after the call. But there's an infographic with all the stats and all the main findings from the research that you can share. And on the right, you are seeing the download now page. So anyone can download the full report, which has been produced by Forrester Research and commissioned by Microsoft. What I have added here for your reference is the link to the New Zealand report and infographic, as well as the link to the APAC-wide report and infographic, just as a way of comparison. I think it's great to understand what's happening in New Zealand, but also great to have that benchmark, okay, what's happening on the region, right? And some of the trends are different. Some of the trends around internationalization, around data analytics and secure remote work are quite different depending on the countries you look at. So I think it's also a good point for you to analyze and benchmark, how your customers are doing, and have that comparison point to talk to your customers about what's happening in the countries that are close by to New Zealand. So that's available to everyone to leverage. Do recommend downloading the report there. Now, Microsoft, it's also something that we want to promote externally. So we do a lot of work around change perception and driving thought leadership to the market. And you might have seen, if not, you might see in the near future, some of our ads on LinkedIn, on also premium websites around finance and politics and technology. We do have paid ads running to promote that report, to promote the findings. We are emailing customers and asking them, to download the report. So there's a whole media plan behind it to make sure we are driving that message to market and helping customers to understand the trends in region and in New Zealand specifically. Last but not least, I want to leave you guys with this slide, which we call the elevator pitch. So this is really about helping you, take the content from the research, take the findings from New Zealand, and starting conversations with our customers, right? It's really about what's the proof point, what's the insight we got from the market, and what's the opportunity for small businesses. So for one example here, if you think about, let's say like customer engagement, we identified that only 12% of SMBs are set up to deliver personalized customer experience. So very low number. We have countries in Asia Pacific that have, a better result for that. More small businesses are able to personalize the customer experience they provide, which is critical to succeed in today's world. And then what's the opportunity, for the business, how they have the systems that will provide them a 360-degree view of their customers, how they can provide tailored experiences at scale to their customers. So it's really about helping you, to go from the data insight, the insight you got from small businesses, to the proof point, to the solution area, and then to the actual opportunity to start a project with your customers. So I hope you leverage that. I'm sure this is something most of your sellers will be doing on a day-to-day basis, but this is giving you some ammunition to start some of those conversations or reignite some of the conversations that might be held due to the latest impact of the pandemic. Now, another cool thing, and this is the last slide that I have, it's about the global commercial campaign that Microsoft is launching, which is called Business Resilience. So this is our response to COVID-19 globally. Microsoft has put together the website. So if you click on the title here, it's actually a hyperlink that's going to take you to the Microsoft website, the global website for this campaign. And this is Microsoft's response to the pandemic, how our solutions can help businesses be resilient. This is the term, this is the main word we are beating the drum around, about business resilience. And we have a whole set of technologies that can help with different things, right? From being able to provide better data insights to your team, actionable insights, to help with, secure remote work, be able to be productive from anywhere, to optimizing operations, reducing costs, and so on. Even like digital sales with, customer service, curbside pickup, all of that. So there's so much, and I'm sure you are having those conversations with our customers right now about how the technology can help with some of those needs. And it's not about sales here, right? There's actually stuff driving some of the content drives, to some free trials around some of our technologies that they can leverage as a starting point, and something that you can tap onto. So I highly recommend having a look on that, aligning your sales pitch or conversations to some of those findings. We have engaged another research group here. So Boston Consulting Group has worked with us to put together this content. So a very credible organization. And honestly, it looks great. I think it looks quite modern, the design, the content, the messaging. There's a lot of empathy on the messaging there, given the times we are going through. So do have a look. We have a paid media plan again behind it. So you're going to be seeing this on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on other channels. So do look for those ads. But more than that, have a look at the content and see how you can reuse that content for your customer conversations, for your marketing campaigns. Cool. So that's it. All the links are on the slide. I will leave my email here if you want to ask any questions, if you want to find out more. Also, if you're interested on data from other markets, do reach out to myself. We have those reports for other Asia Pacific markets as well, if you want to benchmark against other countries. And with that, I think we are at the Q&A. So if there's any questions, please feel free to open up the mic or type your question. Slides will be shared, and the webinar recording will also be shared later on.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Vitor. Oh, sorry, there's no feedback. Thanks so much to all of our speakers today. Yes, the slides will be available. I'll upload them immediately, and I'll get the recording on as an announcement early next week, as usual. Please feel free to come off mute if you have any questions. And I know some of you have already used the chat window to ask, so that's completely fine. And if anyone has anything to add in terms of the speakers, please feel free to take the stage.
Yeah, hey guys, it's Paul here. Thanks for all those that stuck around for the full session today. Feel free to ping me anytime on the questions on any of that stuff that I covered. It seems like a bit of a quiet session today in terms of interaction, which is fine, all good. Hopefully you guys are going to take a look at some of those links and content that we've all shared. Thanks Vitor as well for taking us through that that material. It's really insightful. I'm just for those that are following on the chat. Yeah, I made reference to an older campaign, and Dave Jackson has trumped me with the Start Me Up campaign. Okay, you got one up on me there. Windows 95. That's when Microsoft had queues of people outside, like Apple does with iPhone.
Yes, Jono.
Actually, it's funny. The Bring Back Clippy thing was. I've been watching some of the Ignite, and they've been talking about Bring Back Clippy on there quite a bit.
Just letting you guys know, I'm just gonna pause the recording here, by the way.
Thanks, Ken.
It's probably